I'll go.
They say you're good? Yeah. You got the thumb?
No, I mean from the computer.
Oh, he's gonna place down on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and place it. Yes. Yes.
Bill, they might have an announcement to make for the class.
Okay.
We might introduce you, so you might want to ask them what.
Okay, sure.
Method is. Is it going to come out of there?
Yeah, it should.
It should be fine.
So I'm hearing I need to probably
The settings. Output. There we go.
there it is. Totally works. Totally works. All right, we're good.
Kind of talk a bit about our past and how he connected. He actually did a portfolio review for UTA, I don't know, about almost a decade ago or something close. That's what it feels like. But he was super generous, and that's where I met him for the first time. And he was the one person that looked at my portfolio and wasn't confused with all the illustration and drawing and just different forms of media like video. He was into it, and he encouraged me to kind of find my niche, and he was just super generous with his knowledge. So I encourage you to take advantage of that during the Q&A section, right? Don't be too silent or shy. He'll answer anything about, if it's about, you know, life stuff, just career advice and stuff like that. But, you know, pay attention to the presentation so it's in context and just enjoy it. Really funny guy. So here's Jay Allen. Let's give it up for him.
Glad. I understand that I'm the first live human to do a presentation in like 2 years of this sort. Is that right? So I feel really honored to be that human. As Mason said, my name's Jay Allen. I'm the creative director of a company called Secret Powers based in Fort Worth. I also make weirdo internet music videos on a YouTube channel called Slack Circus. I'll talk a little bit about that. It is a part of my creative journey. So a couple of things I want to hit here. One, I want to tell you a little bit about just the things that I've fallen into. And it very much has been a series of falling into things and then taking advantage of some opportunities. Oh, thanks. Can I make it any brighter?
Would you like the room brighter?
Oh, no, this is fine. If everyone's cool with this brightness level, I like it a lot. So I'll tell a little bit about my backstory, talk about Slack Circus, talk about Secret Powers. We do visual effects, animation, editorial, primarily for the video game industry. So we're going to get into all of that. Where I want to start is just a very simple thing that kind of occurs to me all the time as I take inventory on you know, everything that's happened over the last 15 years, and that there's more than one path. There's not just one right path. When I started at Oklahoma State University, I started out as a computer science major because I thought I wanted to program stuff. And then I saw some of the students that were in that program with me, and I mean, these guys were coding all the time. Like in their free time, they loved it. They were just making stuff and like, hey, cool, it makes 100 at the end when you put on all these words. And I just, I realized I wasn't that person. And so I realized that I just mainly liked using computers to make things and also to play games. So this is a picture from 1996. This was the first QuakeCon, big old LAN party. And this was a scene that I was into for a long time, first-person shooters, that sort of thing. So I thought, well, I like video games, and maybe that's what I like about computers. Also, I've always made videos. So here's just a selection of my greatest hits, including my high school senior video. There's a Kung Fu movie up there. This is something I've always known. My earliest memories are making fake commercials on my parents' tape deck. And that was just always something I was really drawn to. So enter University of North Texas. I transferred to University of North Texas and studied radio, television, and film. And you guys have a really cool name for your department of this sort, Cinematic Arts, right? Which I think is a much better name. I'm also curious, I know that it's kind of half and half maybe. Who's Cinematic Arts in here? All right, cool. How about art? Like art, graphic design, that sort of thing? All right, art's about 50-50. So one of the things that I learned in the RTVF department, this was very geared towards broadcasting. And so it was sort of like, I think the assumption coming in to UNT at this time was like, you want to go work at Channel 8, you want to go, you know, be on the ticket or something like that. And I wasn't really interested in any of that. And so I sort of made my own track here. So I took some 3D animation courses, took some design courses. On the side, I was doing some web design. At that time, like, you know, gosh, Netscape in 1997, whatever it was, that was kind of coming on the scene. I also worked part-time at a tech support place. I worked for MSN back when that was like AOL, where you like dial in with the modem and everything. So I did that for a long time, and also did some freelance work designing websites. So I was kind of just grabbing everything that I could. One interview question that we always ask at Secret Powers is, what was your very first job? And I don't mean like your first job professionally, like what is the first thing that you did for money? So were you a sandwich artist at Subway? Were you a lifeguard or did you work retail? My first job, I worked at a barbecue place. I also worked at Brahms. I worked at a drugstore. And the reason I mentioned this is I think it's so important that you have tried a bunch of different stuff, that you've had some jobs that really sucked, actually. That you've had some jobs that you hated, but you showed up and you did it and you worked on a team and you got along with people. It's so important because when I interview people that haven't done any of these jobs or haven't done jobs that they hate, oh yeah, every one of my jobs has been super creative and super interesting and the ultimate expression of who I am. That's cool, but not super interested in that, in the grit department. And so work lots of places, try lots of things. And like I said at the beginning, I fell into a lot of the things that I do. Studied RTVF, but at the time, the internet was happening. .coms were happening. And so there were lots of web design jobs. They were plentiful. And so I said, I know how to build some websites. I know HTML. I was enough of a computer science major to be able to string some code together and make things happen. And so, so that's what I did. And so I moved to Silicon Valley for a couple of years in the early 2000s and did that whole thing. I spent more time being unemployed than having a job. Being an unemployed web designer in Silicon Valley was like a hilarious thing at that time. They're like, what do you do? Oh, I'm an unemployed. I couldn't get a job at Kinko's. Oh, what do you do? I'm an unemployed web designer. Like, oh, that's hilarious. I started a blog, because who wasn't starting blogs then, called Slack Circus. And I got this name from, I mean, one, I'm ADHD, inattentive type. So I guess it was a word to describe how I think that my brain works, or at least what I was understanding what my wiring was. And so that was just a name that I thought sounded cool. So I had enough of Silicon Valley, moved back to Texas, and I worked at a company called Club Corp, who owns and operates golf courses and country clubs. And at Club Corp, I was their video guy. So I kind of returned to video from my little adventure doing web design, and I did corporate communications videos. I did some website stuff, but basically, I think at the time I was called the multimedia specialist. So I specialized in multi things. That was my job. So while I was at Club Corp, I learned a lot of stuff. It was a good opportunity for me because I was the only guy doing that stuff. And so I got to buy the video equipment that I wanted. I got to buy the software that I wanted, and I could just kind of try a bunch of stuff. Well, in 2005, I started this side project with my friend Ryan, and we were watching. Do you guys know that YouTube video, the G.I. Joe PSAs? You know, right? It's like pork chop sandwiches. There you go. Okay, so I'm a computer. I saw that and I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've got to do something with that. And so we made this. And show of hands, who knows this video? Whoa! Oh my God. Yeah, that was me.
Oh my God!
Wow. Okay.
Famous.
This presentation just took a turn. Yeah, so in 2005, made a video called Fabulous Secret Powers, put it on YouTube in 2007, and it didn't do a whole lot until about 2010. And so, oh yeah, so here we go. That's me. Yeah. I have to admit, this is all me, except later the sorceress is my wife, and my friend Ryan is man-at-arms on the Anti-Tribes. But I'm Skeletor, I'm Beastman, all those things. Yeah, I did Skeletor. So, is this turning into a talk about Fabulous Secret Powers? Is that what this whole talk is going to be now? I am going to talk about it a little bit because it is a big part of my story. So this project led to my first ever paid project, my first ever professional project when I started my business. And I did try really hard in making this video. Okay, we'll come back to that. So there's a YouTube channel, and it's been really a super fun journey to sidebar. Like, I got really into Vine whenever Vine was a thing, and I made little short form He-Man animations and animated other Viners that were funny that I liked what they were doing. And those are all in the short section right there. But so as you clearly know, this turned into more than I ever could have imagined. People weren't talking about viral videos in 2005 because YouTube was just being invented. And, I sat down to make something that maybe 10 of my friends would enjoy, like, hey, gather around my beige computer and watch this thing that I made. And, it still blows my mind that all of this happened. Like, I really don't understand it, to be honest with you. But here we are. So Fabulous Secret Powers, thought it was a good enough name to name my production company after. My point in showing Fabulous Secret Powers, though, is that creating something good is always worth it. It's worth the time, it's worth the love and energy in making something excellent. Whenever I believe in spending a ridiculous amount of time on silly things, which is what this was, going frame by frame through He-Man animation to make it just right. I think that's really beautiful. But more than that, I think when something is good, it's good because it's honest. It's something that you believe in, that's just true. And so that's something I try to hold on to. Even when I'm doing my client work, I'm trying to think about what is the core good in the thing that I'm doing. I'm not always doing things for clients that I want to be doing, but I'm there to do a job. So how can I make that the best that I can? So relationships also, I think goodness is an important part of relationships. And as you get out there and meet people, you realize you're not alone. There's a bunch of other people that are into the same stuff that you're into. That was something I never felt more surrounded by like-minded people than when the He-Man videos started like getting on the front page of Reddit and stuff. And people were like, oh my gosh, and this little detail and how the AOL thing comes up. I was like, yes, like these are my people. Like all of you're all my people. And that's a beautiful thing. And one thing I would say is learning how to work with people, just cultivating those relationships is probably one of the most valuable things that I can share with you. People just want other people who are down to help them, no matter what it is. And if someone says, hey, I got this thing for you, you want to try it? Okay. A little story here about my friend Chris Sabat. So Chris Sabat is the voice of Vegeta, right? And so he's a friend of a friend, and he saw the He-Man video. He's like, dude, what's your story? Like, I love that. What's your story? And he had been getting some opportunities to make game trailers for Square Enix, the Final Fantasy and all that. And he doesn't know anything about video. So he called me up. He's like, hey, dude, can you help me with this game trailer? And I said, sure. And I'd never done that before, but I tried it. And my friend Ryan and I jumped in and did the best that we could. And then they sent us another trailer. And then they sent us another trailer. And fast forward a couple of years, and then this game company in Chicago who knew the He-Man video said, want to make some fake commercials for our video game? Okay, yeah, I'll give that a try. I've been doing that since I was 7. And so that was literally the job. I had to write and animate a bunch of fake commercials of animals doing things. Let's see. Oh yeah. So it was all these fake commercials, right? Where like, look, Beaver's Bend College of Dam Design, and Formula VX, Fly Cheeto. We had workout videos, we had everything. And I felt like this was the job that was custom made for me. So I quit my job at Club Corp, and I started doing, at the time, Slack Circus full time. So when I started my company, it was called Slack Circus, and we rebranded later. But my point in this whole section of this talk is just be down to try things. And the things that you think may go nowhere may be the thing that sets your story in a different direction. And answering those calls is really important. And sometimes just saying yes. Sometimes just saying yes to what's there. It was amazing whenever I started doing, I quit Club Corp and started doing my own stuff, and I was just available. I wasn't out there like hustling and making sales calls. People just showed up. It was sort of weird. It's like as soon as I was available, it was just, things just started happening. So kind of took it one yes at a time. All right, so I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that we do at Secret Powers. How am I doing on time, Mason or anybody? 1:15?
Yeah, I'm here 1:15. We're out at 1:50.
Okay, all right. Then I'm very good. Okay, cool. So first thing, I'm just going to show our demo reel from Secret Powers, and I'll talk a little bit about my professional work and what we do there, and get into a little bit of process stuff. And it works. There's going to be a frame of He-Man in any demo reel that I ever make, so it's a game that I play. So at Secret Powers, we're very focused in post-production mainly. We do some live action. Design and motion is a big part of what we do. And so title sequences, explainers, some visual effects, this kind of stuff. After Effects we spend a lot of time in, and so a lot of our day-to-day stuff is, I would put into that category. On the production side, our live action spots, so we always hire out all of our live action. We hire a crew and production company usually to do that. So we're more involved in the creative. So the upfront, the writing of it, and the pre-production, the storyboarding. Some of Mason's storyboards had everything to do with that Star Trek stuff that you saw earlier. And so yeah, we're usually handling writing, previs, and then editorial, visual effects, and all of the post work that happens on the other end. Yeah, here you go. So we do 3D animation and visual effects. And so one of the kind of niches that we got into over the past couple of years was mobile games. And mobile games has really just become another arm of our business. I mean, we do a lot of work for mobile these days. This was for Star Trek Fleet Command. And so we have a team of animators. We either hire freelancers or other animation studios to do like the really heavy lifting CG stuff. And so in that sense, we're usually doing more of the post work. And then again, a lot of the pre-visualization. Trailers is where we got our start. So, you know, Square Enix was the first company that I ever worked for as a client, and we still do work for them today, which has been really cool. I would say video games account for about 70% of the client work that we do, and it's a space that I've always been really comfortable in. And so I mentioned mobile. We do UA videos a lot, or user acquisition videos, so all the stuff that you skip on Instagram and the ads that pop up during free games. You're welcome for all of those. And so that's kind of a cross-section of Secret Powers as far as what we do day in and day out. So I'd like to, first of all, any question, I know we're going to have a Q&A, but as far as like what we do, I want to pause and just stop for questions. Nope?
You got one back here.
Yep, yes.
Is there anything in regards to consensual art before you actually get it onto animated film?
Absolutely. And so usually for that, and I'm going to get into a little bit of that here, for a higher concept piece, in addition to storyboards, we'll do mood boards and style frames, and a lot of times go pretty far down the design road. You know, whenever we're doing a motion piece, we'll do pretty much finished looking frames that we show to the client for them to sign off. So yeah, that's a great question. That's always a part and a very important part of our process. Yes?
Do you do any like audio stuff, like post-production audio?
So we do a little bit of it. So our editors usually handle, like, if it's just sort of like a garden variety trailer, our editors are sort of our audio post as well. For more involved projects, we have a couple of audio partners that we sub that out to, where, you know, let's say we need a lot of custom sound design done, or it's going to be a broadcast spot where we need a 5:1 mix, or we need something that's a little bit more specialized. But yeah, absolutely, it's kind of a mix. Yeah.
So I know y'all are based out of Fort Worth, and there are a lot of other production studios out there. Do y'all work with any of the other ones, or is it just all in-house?
You mean in Fort Worth specifically?
I mean, like, do y'all like work with any other studios on like other projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I mentioned for our 3D work, there's a company in Austin called Moontower Visual Effects. I'll skip back a little bit. The Walking Dead stuff, like the Star Trek stuff they did, the Walking Dead character animation that you saw, the zombies and all that, that was Moontower. You know, I mentioned the audio studios. Sometimes if it's a really big project and there's just a ton of work, we will partner with other studios to make that happen. We try to handle as much as we can internally. But if it's a more specialized need, or let's say we need an illustrator that has like a very specific style, you know, we'll partner with people or entire studios to make that happen. All right, cool. I'm going to get into a couple of my favorite projects. this was a live action project that we did a couple years ago. And so this was for Super Monkey Ball. And the client brief was basically, all right, this is a remaster of a game that's been around for a long time. And so we just need to make something fun that gets people's attention. And they came to the table with a couple of ideas. They were kind of into like a mockumentary thing, like a Parks and Rec or Office kind of thing. And so, you know, we got to work trying to imagine what that would look like. I put a couple of frames here just to show, you know, how this came together. And I'm happy to say, like, the shots came out almost exactly how we drew them. Imagine that. Here's something that was on the back of a paper that I drew of how the monkey track would look. And hey, looks pretty much like that. And so, oh man, did I not put Super Monkey Ball, the actual thing, in here? No, I didn't. You guys want to see that? Can I just? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. Let me pull that up. I've got it right here. Here it is. Okay. Now, what I don't know. Okay, this is going to be a tricky move. There it is. Oh, man. Yoink. And success.
Well, yes, it's every actor's dream to work on this franchise. It's Super Monkey Ball. I feel this is the role I was born to play.
Bravo! Ladies and gentlemen, on Director Pro.
I don't direct. Okay, directing is something you do with traffic. No, I am a sculptor. No.
Is it too much?
Run. The bananas are coming at you.
The younger generation, my generation, is really going to enjoy my performance and the Super Monkey Ball brand. And to think that I played a part in that, this is like a dream come true.
There's only 10 minutes of oxygen in that ball. They left me in there for like, I don't know. But all I can tell you is this. One moment I was boozy, the next I was in my dressing room.
You know, there's so many layers to IR. In one moment, I think I know him.
That's good.
In the next moment, he's teaching me something about myself.
What sort of person is going to love this?
Everyone is
Anyone
rated
that has a
E for
heartbeat.
everyone.
When I'm inside the ball, I see the future. And it's not just about collecting bananas, but it's about all of us blitzing all of the bananas together.
Yeah, so the universe, this is where world building was really important. So we went really far down the road creating backstories for all of these characters. You don't even see like 10% of it in this, but it was really important to know where these people are coming from. And so, you know, like this guy, first of all, is a mountain of a man, and he's playing this tiny little monkey in the game, right? And so, you know, he was this guy that takes things really, really seriously, and being a part of Super Monkey Ball is the highest honor that you can have as a thespian of his caliber. And, you know, he's really good friends with the director, who's just very, very, what's the word? Like, very into herself and her accolades. We did a whole campaign based in this universe. Does Command F work? No, it doesn't. It's not like QuickTime. All right, so we did a second video that was more focused on the game itself, and we tried to make it like a fake entertainment show. So like Entertainment Tonight, that kind of thing, as if all of this was real. And we never explain why they're wearing these monkey outfits. Never explain it once.
Welcome to Screen Appeal. I'm your host, Rick Nanderman. And tonight, we have a special behind-the-scenes look at
Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Whether you're a longtime fan of the series or a first-time player, it's got a bunch of great stuff. 100 stages of pure fun, not to mention 10 of the series' most popular party games. Here's director Alessandra Caprice Price discussing some of her favorites.
Well, seesaw ball, slingshot, dangerous route. So dangerous route has proved to be very challenging. Lots of falling off, lots of screaming.
Sounds fatal, but these actors bounce right back, and according to the director, were a chimpan dream to work with.
Corey, of course, perfection. Everyone loves Zach. Happy, exuberant, Callie, lovely. We love her and her followers.
Next, we swung by to catch a table read on the latest script.
Action. More, I want more. Yeah, we got
I just made that up! Before we had to split, we caught up with social media darling Callie Turner, showing off all things Mimi.
The only thing better than being me is being me.
Well, we are running out of time here, but speaking of going fast, sources close to the project say it was Alessandra who personally called in a very special cameo appearance. The game is available now, and I know the cast and crew are super excited it's finally rolling your way. Well, that's all the time we have for now. I'm Rick Anderman. Thanks for watching, and good night!
All right. So, Super Monkey Ball was super fun, and a lot of memories were created. And one thing I wanted to talk about, because this is something I wish that I had heard earlier, because I am a perfectionist, is that perfectionism kills creativity. There's this great quote by Anne Lamott. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life, and it is the main obstacle between you and a shitty first draft. We believe in the power of the shitty first draft at Secret Powers, and basically all that means is just jump in, just start making stuff. And I confess that I get really hung up on like needing all of the conditions to be right, needing everything to be perfect before I can move forward. And every successful thing that I've done, it was because I just jumped in and I tried. And then, okay, that didn't work. All right, I'm gonna try something else. So there's a balance there, because sometimes there's a tendency to chase a vision. Sometimes when you get into making something that you think is cool, it is a hill that you can die on. There's this quote, so I've played in bands most of my life, and there's this little quote there's this studio called Echo Lab in Argyle where I was recording one time, and they have this list of studio rules. And I put this on Job Post, by the way. It's okay to chase the unicorn, but know when it's time to embalm the leprechaun. And that's basically saying you can, yes, follow the dream, follow the vision, take it to its conclusion, but know when to come back down to earth. Everybody that I work with will tell me that I chase the unicorn for too long, and they have to pull me back down. It happens a lot. So when I'm saying this, I'm saying this to myself. Next thing I want to show you is, I've just got a couple minutes left here. So this is our visual effects breakdown reel. Shows a little bit of how some of these shots came together.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. There's just a spark.
So one thing I wanted to mention is, I'm really fortunate that we do get to do a lot of cool stuff. But one thing I would say is be humble. Do the thing that somebody needs you to do. It's actually a good thing if a lot of the stuff that you're doing, especially early on, isn't the greatest and maybe is a little bit uncomfortable. There's so much to learn from that. And so, yeah, show up and be humble. You know, show up for the job, whatever it is. That's something that's really served me well over the last couple of years. Also, the other thing I would leave you with is keep your personal projects, keep doing them, have fun. That's why I keep Slack Circus around. So I have one thing that's my thing. Clients aren't telling me what to do. That's just my kind of playground. I've got maybe 5 minutes, and then I want to open up to questions. Would you guys like to see like a recent Slack Circus thing, like a new He-Man animated thing? Yes. All right, cool. So I made this at the end of 2020. This is called Villainous Behaviors. And this was just, 2020 was a frustrating year. Needed to blow off a little steam. The concept of this is when someone's a villain, the way that you know that they're a villain is that they act like a villain. And so that's the concept of villainous behaviors. Here we go. Can you hold on a minute? I'm so sorry. That volume is not where it needs to be. And there.
My friends, you need not suffer. I know that life is hard. I know the source of all your anguish. I know the reason you've been scarred. I know you had everything until they took it all away. But my latest creation will certainly ensure that we're going to make them pay. Oh, please hear me out.
Misspelling.
Now allow me a moment to show you what I'm about. I am a genius. Very stable, and I fly around the world in a mechanical trap. They say I'm villainous. Okay, so my delivery's a little rough. And if I went to parties, you would look and see that I'm the least evil person in the room. At least likely to spell your doom. Never mind, villainous behaviors. Villainous behaviors. You poor creatures need a savior, and I'm going to be that savior. Really, villainous behaviors. Villainous behaviors. I'm not villainous. I'm just exhibiting villainous behaviors. These were my father's dying words, and I shall never forget them. He told me everyone's out to get you. Don't let them. And that's why I invent idle machines to prevent their very crooked intent. They say you don't belong. I say that's proven wrong. And if you change your mind, I'll simply change your mind. Yes, I will set you free. Take a chance on me. Yes, these machines, these foul visions from afar. Oh, I've seen enough. So just give me your stuff, 'cause I've forgotten what it's like to love. What it's like to like to love. These villainous behaviors. Villainous behaviors. You poor creatures need a savior, and I'm going to be that savior. Really, villainous behaviors. Villainous behaviors. I'm not villainous. I'm just exhibiting villainous behaviors.
As one by one we face our fear, and soon you hear the chilling sound of laughter as we gather round. And though you fight to save yourself, we choose the path that's braver. For love endures and shall forgive his villainous behaviors. And now we'll see you later.
Thank you. So, that's me. That's Secret Powers. That's Slack Circus. Looks like we got 10 minutes for questions.
Was that your music?
Yes.
Did you do the voice acting for that?
Yes. Yes.
What's your favorite doll you like to use when you do your music stuff?
Favorite what? Oh, I use Logic.
You like Logic?
Yeah, it's just what I know. I started when I bought my first computer, like laptop for music, right before I made the He-Man video, and it's what I learned, and that's what I use. Anything else? Yes.
You hiring?
We're not right now. We are actively building our freelance roster. I will say that. This has been a growth year for us. We've got 8 full-time staff right now. We tend to grow pretty slowly, but yeah, that's kind of our situation right now.
Can you talk about, you said you were in bands,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
how that, career, the artistic creativity plays in with the game culture
Oh, yeah.
you're doing now. It seems like it's all kind of, when you talk about being authentic, I can kind of see you, right?
Mhm.
Like, and do you think that most people going into this industry need that kind of robust background that you have?
Not at all. I mean, it's just you got to have your thing. You know, I've done music longer than I've done any of this stuff, and music. Like I tell my folks all the time, for me, like if I can hear it, I can see it. So a lot of times, if I'm editing, I'm not a visual editor. I'm very much an auditory editor. So I'm hearing the beats and I'm feeling the timing, and it's more of a musical exercise for me, like how all of the pictures are coming together. And even character animation is the same thing. It's all about like just it's timing and rhythm. And so that's what I use because it's a tool that's available to me. But I know lots of people that motion graphics designers, animators, editors, and so forth. They come from any number of backgrounds. I think having a sense of timing and all that's really helpful. But I think just using what you have is the best thing. Well, finding what it is that you have, because everybody has that thing. That thing that you're like genius level at that thing. Find that thing and exploit the hell out of it. Yeah.
I've got a question from the YouTube Live.
Ah.
Other than the craft, how did you learn to run a successful business? Did you take any courses or pick it up from your previous employers?
I learned everything I know about business from the streets. No, I have failed a lot, and I feel like I've been doing Secret Powers professionally for like 3 years. I've actually been doing it for 15, but I'm kind of starting to get a sense of what I'm doing and like how to run a business. Because this may surprise all of you, but I don't have an MBA, didn't go to business school. It's sort of like I know how to make things, and then I've had to learn how to run a business later. Now, my corporate experience, yes, helped me a lot in that area because I spent a lot of time in a lot of cube farms with corporate reporting structures and politics, and understanding how to work within that hierarchy was actually really, really valuable. When I was in school at UNT, I worked part-time tech support for Blockbuster, for Blockbuster Music whenever they had music stores. And, but it was like, it was a corporate environment. And so I was kind of learning how to work in that, and that really helped. And it really helps me with clients because most of my clients are, they're corporations. And so me coming in as a creative, also kind of knowing what their red tape is, and just the fact that there is a thing called red tape, and the fact that there is a hierarchy, and that there is a reporting structure, and that there are politics involved, working all those other places that, by the way, had nothing to do with anything that I do now, was extremely valuable. Yes.
I got a follow-up.
Yeah. Finding the time to do the thing. You know, I spend a lot of time feeling like I'm cheating on the company if I'm like sitting down and doing like creative time, whether that's writing something or designing something. It's kind of balancing those two things. You know, there's a list a mile long of business stuff that needs managing, staff and payroll and accounting and like all that stuff. And I have help with those things, but that is, it is really hard to hold both of those things in either hand. And that's why I think the Slack Circus stuff is so important. I made a goal for myself to write one song a month or write one something a month just to keep me in that. Have I stuck to that? Not always. But, you know, it's a reminder to stay in that because you can really get caught up in the business side of stuff. Anything else? Yeah.
What would your advice be for someone starting out freelance?
Well, I would make sure that, well, here are a couple things. So probably if you're starting out, you're not going to have any work to show, or you're going to have like student work to show or whatever. Make spec work. I talked to a freelance designer last week that had all of this really legit looking stuff for, you know, brands and shows and stuff like that you've heard of. And it was just a really great showcase. I mean, she told me like that wasn't for a client, but I don't care. Like, I know she can do the thing. And so, you know, build a portfolio around stuff that you're interested in. And if there's like a brand or a show or a property or whatever that you like, design something out of that. You know, the other thing I would say is just clarity, authenticity, honesty with the people that you're working with. That's one. The other thing is get plugged into a community of some kind. It goes back to that thing of, you know, you're not alone. Just being a part of a community, like find a Discord group, find like people on Twitter talking about stuff that you're into, whatever it is, and you know, kind of band together. Like that will give you such a boost in what you're trying to do. There's somebody else, right? Yeah.
I kind of had a question, but you kind of already answered it in a sense.
Uh-huh.
Like I was thinking, like, what do you look for specifically in a freelance artist?
Well, you know, it depends on what the job is, but I think one thing is, you know, portfolio, just a solid portfolio. I know that they can do the job. Also, how they present themselves. Like I really, you know, when I'm kind of looking into hiring somebody, I look at their Instagram. I see what they're talking about on Twitter. I mean, I look and see what they're actually about. Because like your website's one thing, but the way that you think, the way that you sort of approach or interact with the world super matters. And so, you know, that's something I look at. The other thing is, you know, just being easy to work with. You know, freelance it's very competitive. And if you're easy to work with, or if it's like, hey, you know, this unexpected thing came up, like that's gonna happen, and they don't freak out about it, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's not ideal, but we're gonna deal with it. There's freelancers we've been working with for, you know, 5+ years that fall into that category, because it's like, I know that no matter what happens, like we've got each other. So that counts a lot. Yeah.
When building portfolios, is it better to like specialize in one thing, or kind of have a bit of everything that you want to do?
For freelance or just in general?
I would say in general.
I mean, try to visualize your target, or visualize like your ideal. Okay, this is what I think I want to do. I think specialization is a really good thing, because if you can be the best at that thing and own that can be really powerful. You can't be all things to all people. So in graphic design, you know, I think it's good. What is your major? What are you studying?
Animation gaming.
Great. Okay. So in, you know, a curriculum like that, you know, I think people are going to want to see, So let's say it's game design, right? Or it's doing art assets for a game. If there's one thing that you do, like, and you think maybe I do this better than most, then own that. Get into that. Put that front and center. Because when you're going through a bunch of portfolios, what you're looking for is point of view. And if point of view is unclear to me, it's like I need a quick connection. I don't have time to synthesize a bunch of stuff. And so I think having just the clarity and simplicity of being kind of targeted is usually a good thing.
Y'all, I apologize for bringing the Q&A to a close, but I know that some of y'all need to get to another class. So let's give a big round for Dave.
Thanks.
Follow them. Instagram, right? Check
Yeah,
them out.
that's Instagram.
Cool. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Turnout. Thank you. Killed it, man. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
It was like a show.
I enjoyed it.